Have you been wandering aimlessly amidst the barren wasteland of failed, horrendously trash MMOs? You know what? It's okay to admit it, we're all friends here. New MMOs get announced periodically throughout the year, but very few of them ever seem to launch, and even less acquire any type of long-term success, which in turn has left you bored, frustrated, repeating the same content in the same MMOs month after month. That is where this video comes in. The MMOs that are still slated for a full release before the year's end. And unfortunately, no, both Blue Protocol and Throne and Liberty were delayed. Blue Protocol to potentially 2023 or 2024, and Throne and Liberty to somewhere in the first half of 2023. Before we jump into today's video, did you know that Guild Wars 2 just launched onto Steam on the 23rd of August? For the first time ever, Steam players are able to play one of the world's greatest free MMOs on the largest gaming platform. And I could not be more excited to be sponsored by the Guild Wars team to let all of you know. If you're interested in getting some sick goodies to start your new Steam journey with, I urge you to go ahead and click the link in the description in the pinned comment below to obtain an XP boost pack and a mini pad plus that helps our channel out. Guild Wars 2 is an MMO that I have streamed every single year and has been one of my 3 highest rated MMOs of every year that I've played since beginning this channel. Not only did End of Dragons just launch and bring with it a ton of new content for players to consume, but the base game alone has hundreds of hours worth of content to push through. Not only does the game look incredible, but it also has an incredibly unique hybrid action combat system, a surplus of diverse classes, robust character creator, a deep narrative, and so much more that sets this apart from the rest of its competition. Now is your chance to get into what is arguably one of the most unique, highest quality MMO experiences online. No joke. Make sure to take a moment here and click that link in the description and the pinned comment below to redeem your goodies. Now let's start this off with Ares: Rise of Guardians. Ares is a brand new PC exclusive MMO from Kakao, the very same people that published Black Desert for years and more recently published the failed Elion. I'm aware that this is not the most, well, appealing track record, especially considering what they did to ArcheAge over the course of the last year. Nevertheless, Kakao confirmed out of nowhere earlier this year that Ares is a brand new sci-fi MMO, a Korean take on something like The Old Republic or Star Trek Online, meaning hot waifus in space, great action combat, amazing graphics, but a terrible story, a bland world, and horrendous optimization. And that's completely disregarding the business model. Ares was announced in March of 2022, accompanied by a 30-second teaser and a confirmation that the game is launching on PC in 2022. Almost 6 months later, we have no new footage, we have no new information, but a release date inching ever closer, which has left me a little bit concerned that they're either going to rush the global release, as this is confirmed to be releasing globally, or they're going to delay it into 2023. Arthdal Chronicles is a brand new cross-platform MMORPG in development from Netmarble, the very same people behind the critically, well, I want to say acclaimed here, but that would be a lie. Critical failure would be a more apt description. MMO, Ni no Kuni Crossworlds. But they're also working on several other hotly anticipated games, the 7 Deadly Sins Origin and Solo Leveling specifically, both of which look incredible and I am excited for, but at the same time, no, will probably end up being as bad as Ni no Kuni Crossworlds was or is, and thus whether they live up to our standards for what a good game is another story altogether. Regardless, Arthdal Chronicles was announced in February this year. It was revealed that the MMO would be accompanying a new season of the hit TV series this game is based off of, using games, TV, movies to attempt to expand Arthdal Chronicles into its own global intellectual property, spanning every type of media available. They claim that it will feature an action combat system, it'll have a large open world for players to explore, a multi-tribe system functioning similarly to factions in World of Warcraft or Ion, large-scale world PvP. It's also confirmed to have a simultaneous global launch, with the launch in question coming sometime in 2022. I haven't heard any news on the game since it was announced in February though, so yeah, I don't know. They might surprise us though, as it has not officially been canceled or delayed yet. Now, before we continue through the remainder of the games slated for release this year, I do want to just take a moment here to thank all of our incredible patrons that support us over on Patreon. You guys are incredible, and I cannot thank you all enough for the support. If I ever met you IRL, I would totally consider giving you a hug, but would probably be too awkward to, so you know, we'd end up going into one of those weird little hug into handshake things, but you'd understand the meaning behind it. Now, back to the video. Chrono Odyssey is a Korean MMO announced back in 2020, almost 2 years ago. However, development actually began the year prior in 2019. It is being developed by NPixel, the same studio behind Grand Saga, a fairly successful cross-platform anime MMO that made over $100 million within its first month. Honestly, very little has been revealed about the game currently. It's supposed to feature a space-time epic fantasy adventure with massive realm versus realm battles like those found in Guild Wars 2. They claim it'll utilize an action combat system to make battles more exciting. It also seems as though Chrono Odyssey is being developed cross-platform on PC, console, and mobile, but every platform is going to have a completely separate UI, something that most cross-platform MMOs these days could learn from. I'm just hoping that mobile is not the priority, given we haven't heard anything about a delay. It's still possible we're going to receive the game this year. I'm concerned we won't, but they might pull out a release date last minute. And yes, this is launching globally. Justice Online is a wuxia MMORPG developed by NetEase that not only looks better, but also plays a lot better than the failed Swords of Legends MMO that we were all excited about last year. Much like Solo, Justice Online features a gorgeous open world landscape for players to explore, arguably one of the largest I've ever seen. It has fast, fluid, hybrid action combat, a plethora of different classes, all inspired by various different weapon and martial arts styles. However, it doesn't feature a high fantasy setting, meaning every NPC, every enemy, even you yourself, all look relatively the same. It's set within China, and thus has a very old traditional Chinese aesthetic, which works for me. I love wuxia and xianxia, but I'm aware that it doesn't appeal to everyone. Now, Justice Online was confirmed to be receiving a global release earlier this year. However, since its announcement, the devs have gone pretty silent. Until recently, when I received an email from them anyway stating that it is still coming in 2022, and maybe sooner than we thought. Let's hope that they can stick to that schedule and that it doesn't end up delayed. Odin Valhalla Rising is an MMO developed by Lionheart Studio and is arguably one of, if not the highest quality cross-platform MMO available right now in Korea. It is not available globally yet, but it will be, as it was confirmed in a Q&A in November last year that the game would be launching around the world this year in 2022. The most interesting part of the Q&A was when they went on to state that they're aware that autoplay is present in the Korean version of the game, but that Western players loathe autoplay mechanics and thus have opted to remove the autoplay elements from the game altogether, something I genuinely never expected to see. Odin features a Norse setting with gods like Thor, Loki, Freya, and more. It's set in several large open worlds, allowing for players to travel between each of the realms, kind of like what's done in the Thor movies, and if what they claim is to be believed, will feature actual non-autoplay action combat. Given Odin Valhalla Rising is one of the highest grossing cross-platform MMOs in Korea, earning over $100 million in its first month, it's safe to say with a focus on manual play, this could potentially be a massive hit, bigger than Tower Fantasy or Grand Saga, easily. And those right there are the 5 MMOs still slated to release in 2022. They might not necessarily be what we want, but they are the only games that we're likely to get until 2023. We've had some solid releases this year. Lost Ark has been fun, Tower Fantasy has been fun. I laughed at how bad Noah's Heart was. Guild Wars 2 released End of Dragons, which was an incredible expansion. WoW is releasing Dragonflight, which may or may not be good. But at least we have MMOs to look forward to over the next few months, right? Now, for those of you that are interested in playing something while waiting for these MMOs to release, I got you covered with both of these videos on screen right now. Yeah, Papa STIX always looks out for his little stick children.